In this video, I'm going to break down the bad-el and the Siphi 10X is a good 10X, probably one of the best we're ever going to have right next to the Dracomorph one we had, okay? But you shouldn't pull your shards, and you definitely should not spend money. I'm going to break down the reasons why in this video, but right off the bat, let me give you a good one, okay? Do you want to reward behavior that is purposely trying to trick you into rewarding them? Let me give you an example. Is that the type of thing you want to benefit? So let me look. Check out the ancient shard system. You remember how we had the mercy tracker where you could see how far you off your next legendary, and then Plarium went out of their way to remove that third-party application while approving other third-party applications, showing their hand and proving that they don't want you, the consumer, the player, to have access to how many more ancient shards it takes to get your pity legendary. That's a weird thing to have removed. The only reason they will remove that, because it doesn't change the mechanics of the game literally at all. The only reason they do that is so you will not have the information available to manage your shards and resources properly. They want you to waste resources. This is a casino after all. So my first question and my first point of this video is that right there, do you want to reward that by taking part of an event and giving them money for this event? I myself personally do not want to do that. You guys have probably seen on this channel prior, we did hashtag no Pactel Pity, where I asked my audience to pledge that you guys are done spending money till they add the mercy tracker in game itself after they removed it. But let's forget about the mercy tracker for a moment. Let's talk, is there any other major issues that maybe would stop us from spending money? Okay, well, let's think about this. Yeah, the latest updates haven't been so great, but again, let's take the latest updates and all of the negative publicity, the PR. I'll tell you what, let's even take the login 5-star chicken, the login sacred shard that we're all complaining about. Let's throw it all in a hamper, toss it away. Forget all of the recent issues, and let's talk about old issues that have yet to get resolved, that are on the fence line of when they said they would be resolved. What am I referring to? Oh, here's an old one. Duplicate legendary system. It has now officially been over 2 years since I was told in a direct message that the duplicate legendary system has been thought up and was getting worked on. 2 years. And it has been a couple months now since they told us it is 6 months away from implementation. At this point, Plarium's really putting their Raid Shadow Legends duplicate legendary system in a very tight time crunch. Normally, when we see them start teasing stuff, we're going to need to see actual gameplay elements or detail elements of that. They said it was going to be 6 months, but at the same time said they hadn't realized or thought up what it was. We know how long it takes to implement. Now, the duplicate legendary system, when it comes out, because let me tell you, it needs to come out or people like me are never going to spend money on this game again, because how bad does it feel when you spend, let's say, $300, because we know the pity is $220 for ancient shards and for void shards, right? So $220 at the absolute cheapest you can possibly acquire ancient shards, slowly over about a year period is $1 each for ancient shards. So at the absolute lowest price, without getting lucky, we're talking that pity is $220 for a legendary. The average price is going to be more than $300, however, closer in the $350 range for a legendary. Do you think a $350 legendary, which could be a legendary you already own and have booked, because again, you're spending money on shards, etc., is worth $350? Now let's think about void shards. You start pulling for that Siphi, you already have a Torment or something you got from the fusion a while ago. You pull another one, another fusion character, any legendary that's not good. Let's say the Christmas fusion. Remember how bad Pixneal is? Let's say you pull that. Now you have yourself a potentially $1,000 legendary void character, because yes, void shards can be can be as much as $7 a void shard depending upon how you buy them, but you know, they can be cheaper than that as well. At a minimum, we're talking $500, closer to $800 for a void character, upwards of $1,000. To have upwards of $1,000 of potentially completely useless. I'm not talking useful in faction wars, because some duplicate legendaries aren't even good in faction wars. I've only used one duplicate legendary in a faction war. I'm talking useless in PvP. I'm talking useless in PvP. I'm talking useless to even flex with some cosmetic. I'm talking as useless as the day you were born. Now, if you want to reward that kind of behavior by going in here and spending $100 for 15 ancient shards and some silver or something, I mean, far be it from me to take that away from you. And I'm not going to say that spending money on this game is bad or immoral or anything like that. It's not, okay? Because there's not really any such thing, as that, in my personal opinion, if you ask me, okay? But what I will say is that it's probably not going to encourage them to change their behavior if we all do that. And if we're all posting shard opening videos of, thousands and thousands of shard openings that we've purchased, etc., it's probably not encouraging them to do much difference either. I always open people's shards that they've saved up and stuff and post them, and I'll probably continue to do that. But it's been 2 years since I've spent any money. It's been 2 years since I've opened any shards of my own from buying the packs and encouraging that type of thing. And it's been 2 years since I've essentially started encouraging people to go free to play and stop spending money on this game, both because I believe it is much more enjoyable, as well as I believe the money itself isn't very efficient to spend, except maybe an argument a little bit right in the beginning. And as the game goes on, the money becomes more and more inefficient and becomes less friendly to the player, and also becomes more of a habit and less of something you actually need. I mean, there's plenty of resources in the game at this point, and I do believe the resources have objectively gotten better, to be positive for a moment. If you look in the game here, I'm just doing things like the Spider's Den, and I can get the energy to do things like the Spider's Den for the tournaments that's going on, for also the fusion that's going on, while double dipping and being able to take the rewards from clan versus clan to then purchase energy through the clan shop, etc. There's better rewards now. Faction Wars is giving us forward stuff, all that. The free to play is significantly easier to do than it used to be, in my personal opinion. And there's a larger range of champions that are decent you can pull. It used to be there's a lot of really bad champions and only some good legacy characters you can pull. I think they're doing better at getting a lot of decent characters being added to the game. So the experience as a free-to-play is significantly easier. And in my personal opinion, you don't need to spend these globs of money. If you want to spend absolute globs of money on something and you need some dopamine rush for something, 100% just put it in my Patreon, Kappa. I'll leave it in the pinned comment there, no problem. Just dump all of your spare cash. In fact, what I recommend on this channel today is go to your bank account, copy paste the amount in your bank account, then go to Patreon, click on donate, copy paste the entirety of your bank account to Patreon instead of copy pasting it to Plarium. And I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot more enjoyment got out of that by somebody at least. The other part is you don't really need to spend any money at all on stuff like gear, because there's auto clickers in the game now. Like, I have BlueStacks, right? So I don't really have to do anything other than just fill up my energy and then run the auto clicker overnight to farm my gear. That's all I got to do for gear. That's easy to do. I don't need to spend money for that. The clan system is making it easier to get more energy now. If I wanted to spend it on energy over somebody like Yannicka, for instance. And to be honest, maybe gear's better than Yannicka anyway. So there's more stuff in the game you can get just by doing it. Like, there's plenty of legendaries you can get in the game just by doing it. And Siphi and bad-el-kazaar are some of the best legendaries in the entire game. Yeah, I can't argue that. And this 10x is probably one of the best targeted 10x's I've seen in a long time. I'm not going to argue that. You're right about that. My question is, but that's not the point. It's not that it's a good targeted 10x. It's about wasting the cash on Raid Shadow Legends, which my argument today is just don't do it. I mean, just save your money. I'm not trying to be a parent. I mean, that's not what this is. It's just, I've been there, and what you're going to get out of it. Like, I spent $16,000 on this game. Like, I've said this multiple times, okay? And that's my own cash. That's not like pretend $16,000. That's before we even talk about the rewards I got for being in the content creation program that made my account even better. I have a ridiculous account, all right? I'm not playing it because it's more fun to play on the free-to-play because of the change in mentality I've had. It's not even a YouTube thing. Like, it's legitimately just more fun. I was playing in the bath earlier when I got up this morning. I take a bath in the morning. I was just kind of chilling, just playing my free-to-play on account, doing my gear grind and stuff, and it's more of a puzzle. I'm realizing the game's about the puzzle anyway. The game is about how can I build my team? What kind of team do I have available? Like, getting to the higher dungeons is really the fun of it. You know, once you're there, it's like, hey, I did it, you know, and now I get to hit repeat for the rest of my life. So try to save your cash on this one, guys. Don't. If one or two people out there save a couple $1,000s just from chasing this Siphi bad-el-kazaar and they reconsider it, that's my advice to you. If you respect my opinion, honest to God, the whole other, Patreon and BlueStacks memes and all that aside, like, honestly, God, just save your cash, guys. Like, don't chase it. It's not worth it. I have Siphi bad-el. They're dope, but it's just another way to play the game. You can already beat everything probably anyway, and unless for some reason you're trying to compete in Platinum Arena, which just means you're gonna have to spend a ton of money anyway, then you don't really need them.